Hi all, welcome to the 18th edition of Provincial Visa and Education Services News Update. My name is Nish, I'm the Registered Migration Agent in Australia and also Director of Provincial Visa and Education Services. Today I'm going to talk about very hot topic, which is the dependent visa. Now I get a lot of inquiries from my clients, mainly they're studying here in a student visa as a primary applicant, and now they have actually gone back to their country, or they have previously married to a partner, and now they wanted to invite their partner to stay with them whilst they're studying in Australia. Now there has been a lot of questions. I'm focusing mainly on Nepal. So I'm getting a lot of inquiries from students saying, can I bring my dependent partner, my husband, my partner into Australia, and I'm currently on student visa. How can I bring him or her over to Australia? Now, the good news is obviously from 1st of July 2016, the application is all online, so we don't have to do the paper application anymore, so you basically can lodge the application online. Now, can that be onshore or offshore? Yes, obviously it can be onshore or offshore, both, it doesn't matter, but not in immigration detention or clearance center. Obviously that has to be either outside Australia or inside Australia, so the choice is up to you. Now, who are the dependent partners? So the first thing, the eligibility criteria. So for you to be eligible for dependent visa for a student, well, actually you basically wanted to tack onto your primary application of the student visa. So for that, obviously you have to be eligible partner. That means you have to be husband or wife. Now, in terms of Nepal, there's no such thing as a living in relationship. Well, there is, but it would be very hard to prove that you guys are living in relationship, because culturally we don't accept, or culturally the couple before marriage, they don't stay together and possess as a partner in Nepal. So most likely you'll be married to your partner. Now the primary thing, it's not just the partner. Obviously, if you want to bring your child as a dependent child or your carer, these are all the type of the dependent category that you can include in your primary visa application. Now, after that, so the first thing you got to realize is whether or not you have. Now, if you are previously married to this person and you have included this person in your application when you lodge your first student visa, the things will be a lot more easier, because that's what the government wants to see, that whether or not you have actually, if you're previously married, whether or not you have actually declared your partner in your application. Now, when you lodge your first student visa and you haven't declared your partner and you were already married when you apply for your application, then it's most likely you have to lodge a new visa, including yourself, the primary application, new visa declaring that why you didn't include the your partner in your initial visa. Okay, so it's going to be very hard for you to declare why your partner wasn't included on the application. So on that ground, your visa will be refused. Now, the other thing is, say for example, if you get married, if you went to Nepal and got married, you have to let the immigration know within 30 days, change in circumstances. Now, in 1022 form, it is clearly written that if your circumstances has changed after the lodge of the visa or after the grant of the visa, you don't necessarily have to let immigration know. However, in terms of your dependent visa, if you wanted to actually add a dependent in your visa, you have to let immigration know within 30 days of change of circumstances. This is because immigration would like to check the integrity of the relationship, because there are a lot of scams out in the market where people are marrying each other just for sake of coming to Australia. Nothing more than that. There's no genuine relationship, and because of that particular scenarios, immigration has tightened up the rules. That's why there's an integrity check to make sure whether or not the relationship is genuine. So if you have gone back home after your arrival in Australia to get married, when you come back, you have to let the immigration know there's change in circumstances. You're now married. Now you would, in future you might be interested on bringing your dependent in Australia. Now, even as a dependent, you have to satisfy the GTE criteria, which is the genuine temporary entrant criteria. So it's very important that along with the application, you have to write down why you wish to come to Australia and what is your intention to stay in Australia. Obviously, A, to stay with your primary applicant as a supporting partner, or your child will stay with the parents. However, you have to declare in your GTE genuine temporary entrant statement that what you're going to do in Australia. That means obviously you're going to support the primary applicant, wishlist that person studying in Australia, and next thing is you will go back home into your own country and set up your own thing. Like basically you have to justify that you will return back home. So you're not using the dependent visa application or the visa itself as a tool to stay longer in Australia or just to come to Australia and live here. So it doesn't work like that. So basically you have to actually provide the evidence that you're here for a temporary basis. So basically what that means is immigration is just looking for some sort of evidence, some sort of statement to say from the applicant itself that they will be returning back home after completion of the study or the intended study period. Okay, so that's very important. So look, in terms of documents that are required, I haven't seen myself filling out 919. However, I do encourage my applicant to fill up the nomination of student dependents. But online itself, it doesn't require you to fill out 919 form. So 157A, which is the paper student visa application form, is now all gone online. So you can actually fill it out online and some of the applications. So the other major thing is you have to justify that you have enough money to also support your dependent in Australia. So the current spouse or de facto partner would require Australian dollar 6,940. So, or if it's a child under 18, they will require 2,970. So obviously the primary applicant has already justified the expense of the tuition fee and the living expense of $19,830. Now this is on top. So this is on top of the primary applicant, 6,940 for your partner or de facto, or 2,970 for your child, which is under 18, who you wish to bring into Australia. So these are the things you have to know, be careful. So you have to provide enough evidence of funds to show that you're capable to justify the expense in Australia. Now, if you got a dependent child who will be going to school when they come to Australia, you also have to factor their tuition fee into the expense. Okay, so that's another thing. Now, as a dependent person, what you are allowed to do in Australia, so if you basically tacked on to primary applicant who has a bachelor's intention to complete a bachelor's degree, would only allow to work 40 hours fortnightly, similar to the primary visa application's work condition. However, for master's extended master's coursework, the primary applicants intended to do the master's course and the dependent wish to join them in Australia, or they can basically work unlimited hours. So there's no restriction in terms of working hours for the dependent for the primary applicant who is doing masters in Australia. That's the working rights. They can study for 3 months. There's no restriction. So non-CRICROS registered course, which is 3 months, they can continue to stay in Australia. So you could do that too. Now, in terms of gathering information, so what you need to gather information, it's similar. It's not similar, but it's kind of like a partner visa. You need to justify your relationship is genuine, your marriage certificate, your statement from each applicant to say how you guys met each other, how you see your relationships in future, your commitment to each other, financial aspects, things like that. I mean, it's not as hard as partner visa, but you need to actually justify a relationship, that you are in ongoing genuine relationship and you are married to this person. You need to supply the photo evidence or the video evidence that you are married. You need to, if you need to do the declaration, statutory declaration, we'll do that in your country. We need to see some sort of evidence to say that you guys are in general relationship, and there's no bogus documents supplied, or there's no question about the integrity of the relationship itself. So look, once you do that, when you apply for dependent visa separate, it's going to be the similar charge as a primary applicant, $550 for the application fee. Now the other thing is you need to do your medical checkup. So obviously, you know, if you're in Nepal, obviously you need to find the medical panel and conduct your health checkup. Now also biometric test. So you need to make sure that you give your fingerprints test and take a photo shot when you go to Biometric Test Collection Center, which is VFS Nepal. You can make a booking online. Also, you need to make sure that your overseas student health cover is up to date. So basically, if your primary applicant's got 2 years worth of study, they are obviously compulsory to buy that 2 years worth of medical health cover. However, if you need to add the partner, you need to tack on that extra insurance in your policy. So you need to contact your policy provider and tack on your dependent, and you need to demonstrate that to immigration that he or she has the cover, the medical cover. So that's the integral part of the dependent visa application. Look, there are other stuff, so these are just the key stuff that I wanted to talk about today. Now, some key confusion that the guys usually have in terms of where they can lodge, how much it will cost me, what sort of evidence I need to provide, how long it will take. Well, basically, you know, if your marriage is after the application was lodged, the waiting period is up to 6 to 8 months. But if you're married and your dependent was declared in your application, then you just wish to invite your partner into Australia, the processing time for those kind of application is entirely different. They're a lot quicker. Now, if you have any questions about the dependent visa or subsequent entrant visa, you can obviously contact us or book us for a half an hour free consultation. We're located at 99 York Street, level 9, suite 4. Feel free to come and see us. Our phone number is 0290074409. Our email address is nishant@provisa.com.au or info@provisa.com.au. You can contact us via email as well, or you can simply like us in Facebook, Professional Visa and Education Services, and obviously we'll come up with the latest update. Now that's all for today. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll be back again next week with latest update and some topic to discuss or some frequently asked questions. Until then, I'll see you later. Have a good night. Bye bye.